The following is a presentation of Stewed Productions.
Because you can't drink and talk at the same time.
Leave the conversation to us and order another beer.
You're listening to Texas's live
Midday beer-centered show,
Liquid Lunch.
Liquid Lunch. Here are your hosts,
Catherine Contreras
and Josh Stewart.
All right, welcome to Thursday, one and all. Welcome. We are sans Catherine. Catherine is on assignment. Actually, it's a pretty big assignment. That's a tease. Joe Mohrfeld is here. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Thanks
for having me.
From Pinthouse Pizza. There you go. Director of Brewing, Director of Mayhem, Director of Delicious. I don't know what. There you go. From Pinthouse Pizza in in Austin. We're in Houston. Sorry, looking at my map. How are things today, Joe?
Things are great. Beautiful day up here in Austin.
Yeah.
I mean,
as long as you're inside.
Yeah.
It's gotten so hot.
Our breweries are all air conditioned, so it's really nice.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think I saw it was the hottest May in the history of May since May has been a thing.
Yeah, I believe it.
This past May has been the hottest thing ever. But
It's I'm sure it's the same down there. I mean, I think we've been 100 for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like we got back from the Craft Brewers Conference, landed in Texas, and the next day it was 100 degrees, and it's been that since. So
yeah, somebody was like, you know what, y'all had too much fun. You know, you played with fate by eating all that Nashville hot. You want hot? You ordered hot. Now I'm going to give you hot.
Yeah.
It just got hot. But yeah, thank God for air conditioning. My goodness. And pizza and beer.
That's right.
Let's talk about Pinthouse Pizza real quick. How long has Pinthouse Pizza been around? And
we've been around since October of 2012, so 5.5 years now.
Okay.
And our original location, then we opened our second location in October of 15, and we're right now building our third that'll be hopefully opened up before October of 18.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. The new location in Round Rock. Right there, 3406. Was that Old Settlers? That area.
Yeah, we're actually right on Hoppy Trail, so it's
Yeah.
a fitting name for us.
Yeah, that's on. Yeah, Hoppy Trail is the actual road you're on. I'm super stoked that y'all are opening that location. That's right by my in-laws' house. That's where
Nice.
with walking distance. If it weren't 100 degrees, like theoretically.
Yeah. Theoretically, you could walk there.
Theoretically, one could walk there if you had a spacesuit to protect you from the elements. But
Yeah.
it's just right there. That's exciting. Man, you guys have had so much success as far as accolades on the beer side. GABF gold medals, World Beer Cup, all the medals. They just gave them all. They're like, oh, here, Joe, just take them all. To what do you attribute all the success? I mean, other than excellent beer.
I mean, we have an incredible team. You know, I think when we first started in 2012, you know, it was just me. I came down from Odell and, you know, joined this group of guys, and we built this little pub, and we thought, you know, I guess we didn't really know what our ultimate goal was. We wanted to make great beer, you know, make great pizza, and provide excellent service and hospitality for everybody. And you know, as we've been able to grow and get more resources and assemble just an incredible team of brewers, you know, we've been able to become more innovative and continue to push and get better raw materials. You know, I think one thing I always talk about is how important our raw materials are. And, you know, we spend a lot of time and energy going out to the farms and working with farmers as much as possible to get the highest quality hops and the hops that fit our profile. You know, I think there's a lot of great hops out there, but they don't always maybe fit with what you're looking for, you know, from a specific variety. So, yeah, I think it's been a lot of work over the last, 5.5 years, just trying to continue to nail down like our flavor. You know, sometimes like the team, I think, gets annoyed with me because I'm like, we get something that we think is really good, and then we like, all right, now let's try this, and we totally change process. And so those guys are always on their toes. And But I think that constant innovation and constant pushing to always get better has got us to where we are.
Okay, so we were chatting a little bit before, as far as like when the Round Rock location will be open, and you were saying that your brew house will be in soon. So you actually brew in all 3 locations, or will be brewing at all 3 locations.
Yeah. So we brew at both locations. This year we'll do probably about 15, probably just under 1,500 barrels out of our original location. It's a 7-barrel brew house, and then out of our second location, which is on Lamar Boulevard, we'll probably do just right around 3,500 barrels.
Okay.
And that's a 7-barrel brew house as well.
Okay.
And so we run it pretty hard. We brew 6 days a week, 2 batches a day at that brew house. And like I said, we got an incredible team at both, and we make a lot of beer on small system. Yeah. And actually, I think that's something that I attribute to a lot of our success is we kind of run a mini production facility, which has a lot of benefits. You see a lot of small brewers that start with a very big system, and it's great because might only have to brew once a week, but often freshness suffers because you're not turning batches as fast, or if you always have inconsistencies from one batch to another, and we're able to blend those just like larger brewery would do. So the final product is a lot more consistent for people. So we're able to make adjustments, from one batch to another a lot easier. And I think it creates a lot more consistency in the end product and a lot more quality.
Okay, cool. The some of the talk going around, or a lot of the talk in the beer industry lately, has been a lot of push to try to get production breweries to be able to sell beer to go. So licensing is in the forefront of a lot of people's minds. So I have to ask, with 3 different locations, or 2 now and a third coming, how is the licensing set up? How does all of that work from a legal standpoint? What's the setup there?
So our setup is we're a brew pub group technically, but we hold a brew pub license here in Texas, which allows us to do as many locations as we would want, but we can only brew up to 10,000 barrels at any one location.
Oh, one location.
So yeah, we're well under our current ones. Our Round Rock facility, we're building to be able to scale to 10,000 barrels if we ever feel like we need to get there.
Okay.
But we're opening it with about 7,500 barrels of capacity. So we'll be expanding our draft distribution in Austin a little bit, and being able to supply more beer for the pubs. Right now we often, unfortunately, will sell out of beer. I mean, right now we're actually selling more beer than we're producing at our Lamar location. So we only have 8 of our own beers on tap, and we'd like that to be much higher. Yeah. And that's always been our goal, is to offer variety, but we sell a lot of it. We can't keep up right now.
Yeah, it's in high demand, that electric jellyfish. I mean, that's the buzz. I guess, is that an electric pun? I don't know if that's
it's a first. Your first
it's
one
definitely it's definitely our flagship.
Yeah. Oh, it's a fantastic beer. Where did I have it? It must have been in. Does any of that make its way to Houston? I'm trying to sometimes beers all kind of blur together. Like, I remember the moment I had it and how good it was. But I'm like, where was I? Was I here? Was I there? Do any of your beers make it to the Houston area?
We don't ship any beer there. We do have some regulars that I know take a lot of crawlers down, and some will take some kegs down. But we're not any accounts down there.
I remember where I had it. I had it out at Jester King. I had it what's the pizza place?
Stanley's.
Stanley's. I had it.
Stanley's.
Yeah. I was like, that was it. Now I remember. It all kind of comes back. So I remember sitting there thinking, man, this is really good. And it just, everything else just kind of blurs out. But just the beer in front of me. I mean, my wife is a big hophead, and we just sat there and we're just like, man, this is, you kind of get into it. Like, where are our kids? Don't know. Doesn't matter. They're fine, I'm sure. So delicious.
That's cool.
Beer. Yeah, no, it's a delicious beer. So, okay, so when I guess, well, for me, I assume that when there's a brew pub, like an actual brew pub that makes food, like not just the brew pub license. Thank you, Texas, for making it all very clear. That you would brew you would brew your beer and serve your food, and that would be kind of the encapsulated thing that you do. But man, your beer is so good that it's obviously a lot of people want to get their hands on it and serve it in other parts of the Austin area and that sort of thing. So I don't know. That's just, I guess I'm just making a a comment that's cool. I don't know if there was a question there. I do that a lot. I've noticed. I just kind of think about something and talk about it. Ramble. It doesn't really have the form of a question, except for when y'all opened up, you talk about your team, and I want to get into that in just a second. The rest of your team and like the food side of it. But when y'all were initially opening Pinthouse Pizza, did you think, okay, people are going to be clamoring for our beers and putting it out in the community and other places?
No, I mean, at first it really wasn't. It wasn't on our radar, and in fact, when we opened in 2012, it wouldn't have been legal for us to sell our beer for distribution. And that law was changed in 2015, I believe, and so that opened up a lot of doors. And really, we when we opened our Lamar location, we still weren't thinking that we were ever gonna do a lot of distribution. We signed with a distributor because we had to. In the state of Texas, we couldn't self-distribute because we sell other people's beer. And so we signed with Brown Distributing. And the cool thing was, like, initially it was just to do festivals or, events and stuff like that around town. And then it was like kind of just this really organic demand. And, we had accounts that started being like, oh, we'd love to pour it. And next thing you know, it's without even really trying to sell it, we're selling quite a bit of it in market. So it's been a really cool thing. I feel very fortunate. Like, we've never really had to sell any of the beer. It just, every week we send it out and it's all allocated pretty much to the accounts that, buy it every week, and it works really well. And so what I love is, all the beer that's going to market is less than a week old, so people are drinking very fresh beer, and the quality's really good.
Yeah. No, that is cool. They so percentage wise, as far as like what you sell in house at your locations versus outside accounts, what's the percentage? So
we're probably, between the two pubs, like I said, we'll probably do close to 5,000 barrels, and about 65% of that sold in the pub.
Okay.
Probably 60%. Yeah, I'd have to back the math up, but yeah, we're definitely more in the pub still.
Okay.
But I think that'll slowly change, especially with Round Rock and having more capacity. In the pub, we're space confined. There's only so many people that are gonna be able to be there at any given time. But yeah, things like crawlers have been huge for us. We do a couple thousand crawlers a month. So that's a lot of volume that goes through the pub.
Yeah. No, I love crawlers are like it's even better than a to-go dish because you can keep them cold a lot more than you can.
Yeah.
Pizza's the ultimate to-go food. I think. That and I don't know, maybe ice cream, as long as you eat it pretty quick in the car.
Yeah, not today. You're not taking ice cream to go today.
No,
it's gonna be melted.
Yeah, but a growler, you stick that in a cooler and you head to your buddy's house, or just a pick, whatever, watching the game at somebody's or whatever, paddleboarding. I'm trying to think, Austin, like. If you're going, you put it on like your cooler on your paddleboard as you go down the lake or whatever. Yeah, I think that's the ultimate. Like, let's take a little bit of this with us, and it's like it's the best. I mean, the best is probably sitting there having somebody else buy you a beer. That's probably the best. But
yeah, that's a good situation. Yeah.
But the growler, it's like, oh, you brought that. Kennedy will bring a growler over or a crowler or whatever every once in a while, and it'll be like, dude, that's awesome because he gets to get out a lot more. He's super mobile. He doesn't have kids. He's just in the wind, free spirit. I mean,
yes.
Totally. So, we didn't introduce. I'll introduce you here in a little bit. You know what? Let's do that now. I didn't introduce you. Sorry, Joe. I didn't introduce Kennedy. I normally introduce him. Where's your button? Oh, here we go.
I don't know. Are you pushing my buttons again?
I'm pushing your buttons.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Kennedy.
Okay, all that powerful editing. There we go. Chris, Kennedy's officially here.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a question for Joe.
Well, go. Throw it out there, man.
All right. So, Joe, I noticed you had a beverage in your hand.
Oh.
That's true. I got two of them, actually.
Yeah,
one of them has alcohol.
Yes. Can you tell us?
Dun-dun-dun.
It's time for your favorite segment and mine.
Excellent
Here
segue.
on Liquid Lunch. This is...
I'm drinking some Ultra Vase from Sierra Nevada.
Nice.
Yeah, I think we were talking before the show. I'm up at our office, which isn't super sexy. And we don't have access. We don't have like a Pinthouse tap up here, which it'd be terrible if we did because we would get nothing done.
Yeah.
But
well, who's that dude behind you with the medal on? He's ripped. Speaking of sexy,
yeah,
that guy's super svelte.
He's one of our mastheads.
Looks like Zeus or something.
But yeah, just drinking an Otra Vez, which is perfect on a day like today.
Yeah, Sierra Nevada. You know, that's
the hazy IPA one. Ultra Vase.
Is it?
No, it's Zaragoza.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. Yeah, Sierra Nevada is one of those where, you know, I'm saying we, Joe and I don't know, when we first got into craft beer collectively, anybody that did around this, 2000-ish, whenever that was, like Sierra Nevada was one of those for everybody. Kind of ushered you in that pale ale. They're just
absolutely.
They've been around for a long time. Just kind of like taught us what good beer is. And if there isn't, go ahead.
I would say, I mean, you ask almost any brewer, and they unanimously will say that Sierra Nevada is the brewer that everybody looks up to for quality and consistency. I mean, you can get Sierra Nevada Pale in, some convenience store in the middle of nowhere, and it'll be a year old and it still tastes good. You know, like
that's true.
There's a lot of breweries that you can't get that are 2 weeks old that's kept cold that don't taste good. So
yeah,
it's amazing what they're able to do from quality.
That pale ale, man. It's one of those that with so many local breweries opening up, and you want to go try everybody and visit everybody. And like when I go to Austin/Round Rock, I'm drinking Austin/Round Rock. I'm trying out something that I haven't had either in a long time or ever, because there's always new stuff coming out there. You travel around, wherever you go, you want to try local. And so we don't always get around to say like the Sierra Nevada as often as maybe we used to when there was four local beers or whatever. But man, when you do, it's one of those like, oh yeah, this is good. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You guys are known a lot for your IPAs. What is your, is IPA your love? Is it is that like, do you wake up thinking of hops and lupulin and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, IPAs are my favorite. They're my favorite to brew, my favorite to drink. It's funny because like when I got into brewing beer, it was like pale ales. I grew up in Minnesota. I started home brewing after college, and it was like Summit Pale Ale, and then that kind of led down to IPAs. And I moved to Colorado for grad school, and then it was just like Odell IPA, and it's all about hops. And then when I started at Odell, I actually spent like 3 of my 4 years there really focused on sour and wild beers.
Oh yeah.
And I did a lot with the barrel aging program, and was involved in kind of getting that going with a number of the people there, and spent most of my time honestly playing with barrels. Mm-hmm. And I went out to Hop Harvest for the first time, and I pretty much came back and never looked back. I was just like, being in the baling room or the kilns and smelling the hops fresh like that. Mm-hmm. Every beer that we do, it's really just trying to get that essence of the hop, for people in the beer. Yeah. How fresh can we make it taste? How accurate can we depict the hop? So, since then, I mean, I've pretty much been like, IPAs are just, they're fun to brew. They're really fun to experiment with. And I always, that's my go-to, if I can choose a style, it's definitely an IPA. But, I think it was funny as someone was asking me this the other day about IPAs, and I've actually kind of come to realize I don't love a lot of IPAs because I really don't like bitter IPAs. Mm-hmm. And so it's like traveling, I get in certain parts of the country and like almost, exclusively, like I don't like their regional approach to the IPA. But I guess we've always kind of done it our way, and I appreciate a little bit lower bitterness and, nice crisp, refreshing character to it, and just loads of aroma and flavor.
I'm with you. Every once in a while, I want something that's going to smack me in the face. But it's funny that like those really biting, bitter IPAs, like the actual hop plant you talked about going to the harvest. Did you go up to like Yakima Valley or this?
Yeah, we go up to Yakima. Yeah.
Okay, that's hops are. There's kind of a romance around when you look back, like, I don't know if you've read the Hops book by Stan Hieronymus. He did a really good job on like laying it out as a story, like in Germany when they do the hop harvest and they have the big festivals and they have a hop queen. I think, Miss America pageant just said they're getting rid of swimsuit competitions. Did you hear about that?
That's stupid.
I don't know if it is. I can't tell you the last time I watched a Miss America.
I can't. I didn't know it was still a pageant.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I saw it and I was like swimsuit, but I was like, wait a minute, why do they still why do they still do it? Like, why is Miss America still a thing? Other than like it should be like a Ninja Warrior competition. Like that's Miss America. Look at that's or whatever. I don't know, but where was that? Oh, the hop. Yeah, we should do the hop queen or somebody. Somebody should be like some sort of hop thing. I don't know. I like that because it's hops.
Yeah, I mean hops are
Queen of Hops.
Yeah, I don't know what you had to do to get it. Sorry, Joe. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't remember the whole story, but yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's I think like for me too, hops. Like, the more you learn about them, the more you understand how obviously how much beer is an agricultural product and how often I think we as brewers and especially consumers forget that it is so agricultural because for so long the industrial brewer has basically tried to kind of rid the agricultural component out and just make something that's very consistent, very consistent year to year and not showcase different flavors and aromas and you got the wine world, which no one thinks twice of having a 2015 or 2016 vintage of a certain grape taste different.
Yeah.
And it's, people are excited by it. And, for me as a brewer, we try to embrace that, and, our beers definitely evolve and change. And, I'm totally cool with that because hops evolve and change, and I think it showcases the farm and showcases the agricultural component. And, obviously farmhouse beers are, really hot right now and people are super excited. They talk about the connection to the farm and, IPAs are the same way, what we're doing and showcasing the farmer and what the agricultural component is in line with all of that,
Yeah. For a long time, I always heard about, consistency and consistent in like your process is always, that's a good thing. All right. To have a process down. You don't want to be looking around for your mash paddle, in the middle.
Yeah.
Like, I think we boil now. I don't, just that's okay. Obviously that's a good thing, but to year to year, batch to batch, I like the variety. I like the, how can you really tell, it's like count on consistency from something from the earth. Right. And then as people, like we're changing all the time, right? Like how fast do we?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We're completely different people than we were. I don't know how long it takes us to regenerate all our cells. Let's get real deep on this, but don't we, like every 10 years or something, you have completely different cells than you did 10 years before. Like, it's just a made up number, Kennedy. I don't know.
Just go
well,
with
and your
it.
palate,
Okay,
your
just
palate
go.
changes. Your palate like recharges every 30 days or something like that. So
Yeah.
you could honestly drink something 3 days apart and think it tastes different when it's actually the beer is the same, but your palate's perceiving it differently because of other factors.
Yeah. No. I so many times like I'll go on the weekend and like just get my cart full of beer at the grocery store or the Specs or wherever. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to try that. I need to try this, and this. And you get like 2 or 3 beers into it, and you're like, well, I still need to try one more. But and you're going to like that beer, but then you open it, you pour it, and you're like, I'm tired. It's late.
Yep.
You try it, and it's like, this was not. And it's one of those moments you're like, I should have waited. But that's regret right there. That's beer regret. And sometimes that can even, just time being what it is, you don't get to come back to it. And so you're like, you're I don't know, not perception. Well, maybe perception, just kind of that, like the groove in your mind was just like, I didn't really enjoy that, but it's not the beer's fault. It was me. It's me. I always keep that thought in mind. It's like, I messed it up. I hate that. But anyway, that's a public service announcement. Don't drink tired. Don't try new beers tired. I did that with a beer, and I went back to it, and now it's one of my favorite summer beers this season. So St. Arnold's Orange Show. I was like, I tried it after it mowed the yard and had 3 other beers before it and tried it. I was like, I don't think I like oranges. And then I had an actual orange the next day with breakfast. I'm like, oh, I love oranges. It turns out I might have just been super tired and, sun beat and all that kind of stuff. And so I tried it again. I was like, oh, that's a really good beer. So anyway, I don't know. It's just a philosophical rant.
How's your palate feeling right now?
Palate's feeling good. Oh, yeah, we didn't even talk about what we're drinking. We're drinking a Brett IPA from Community. It's called Brett's Get It On. I like it. I like the Brett character, the like overripe fruit kind of thing. I don't know what hops they threw in there. I don't know much about this beer, Joe. I don't know but I like the Brett IPA approach. What are your thoughts?
I've had some excellent Brett IPAs. I haven't had Communities yet, but I know Jamie makes some incredible beer up there, so I'm sure it's a delicious one.
Yeah.
But I think the Brett IPAs, we've done a few where we've done mixed fermentations with like a Brett and a different Saccharomyces strain, and had some really cool results. A lot of like stone fruit. You get a lot of that overripe fruit. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, this one's good. I like it. I'm a fan. I'm gonna put this on my list of I'm a fan.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
So I have a question for you two. Somebody brought this up last week.
Okay.
So our other beer is this 2 sheets. It's going to be a hazy IPA, and it's canned. And somebody's talking about rolling the can around. So when you pour it, it's more hazy.
To awake the haze.
Is that really a thing?
I don't know. I'm going to defer to Joe.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, well, if the beer settles naturally, you just need to rouse it. It's like the old pouring a hef where you pour 2/3 of it and then swirl it. That would have the same effect. But you're not activating haze by rolling it. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I think I saw that y'all are doing a hazy IPA or a NEPA or however you want to describe it. Did I see y'all are going to have one or do have one on tap?
Yeah, we do. We do what we would consider more. It's funny to say traditional, but more traditional New England IPAs. I guess where we're using a London 3 strain or a Conan strain that has a lot of the very ester driven. Like our Electric Jellyfish is a very clean fermented. It's hazy, but it's a very hop driven, like juice forward IPA. But we do some that are more ester driven. And yeah, we release those pretty frequently. We have actually probably our most popular one of those coming out tomorrow. It's a beer that we do in collaboration with the Austin Film Society called Hazed and Confused.
Nice.
And we did it. So it's the 25th anniversary of Dazed and Confused this year.
Is it really?
And Richard yeah.
Oh.
And Richard Linklater, he I guess runs or owns the Austin Film Society. But he wanted to do a beer for the 25th anniversary, and so we had a showing and release the beer, and we've been brewing it for them all year, and we have it in our pub. But that one's I would consider a more true New England. It's very low bitterness, very yeast driven, great hop character.
That's cool. Yeah, that is now that was filmed in Austin, right? In and around Austin.
Yep.
Where was the Moon Tower? Where is that at?
I don't know which Moon Tower. I mean, I've heard rumors, of a couple different locations. A lot of the movie was filmed actually right up by our Burnett location, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like the Top Notch hamburger stand is just about a mile up the street.
That's one of those things. I need, I'm up there a lot, and I've just I've seen that movie probably 100 times, or parts of it, right? But I've never thought to go around and see all the spots. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where like I said, I've heard conflicting arguments on which Moon Tower was actually used, and but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like a kegger at the Moon Tower would be in order for 25th. Robert jumped on the hey Robert, baseball field. Oh, Shoal Creek. Thanks, Robert. Robert bringing the info on the Days and Confused.
Nice.
He says he misses La Calma Muerta.
Yeah, Calma Muerta.
Yeah, he wants to know, is it ever going to be remade or is it gone forever?
Well, so here's the story in that beer. so this goes back to agronomics. Is actually kind of it's like he planted this question. So Como Morta, when I designed that beer, it was all designed because of this hop that I had smelled called Meridian.
Mm-hmm.
And Meridian had this incredible lemon character, just really bright, fragrant, unique, and I thought it would work perfect in like kind of a lower ABV, hop forward session ale.
Mm-hmm.
And so we brewed it at Pinthouse, and it was excellent. And about 3 years ago, 2.5 years, I guess it would be 3 harvests ago, the whole crop started really suffering from, I think it was downy mildew. Mm. And so the agronomics of the hop really went down, and the quality of the hops being harvested were really low, and the character was completely different. And so we were really struggling to try to flavor match or get anywhere close to that original character, either with the new Meridian or with other hop combinations. And we just felt like we couldn't get that like kind of bright, zesty lemon character that we really loved. And so as of now, we always talk about it internally, the brewing staff. I think all of us really love that beer. I think it's just trying to figure out how we can make it in a way that we think is representative of how unique it was. But yeah, we're starting to figure out that we probably can't, get there with the hop profile, but I think we got some ideas on some session ales that kind of fall into that vein, because we'd all like to have something back like that. But yeah, as far as like how it used to be with Meridian not really being agronomically viable anymore, it's gonna be tough. So
okay, so Robert, that's a moment in life that you're just gonna have to harken back to, but embrace the new versions and the offspring or the descendants, I guess, right?
Yeah.
It's they'll be all new good times, Robert. We're not without hope.
We all miss it. It was definitely my go-to, post shift beer, because it was lower ABV, just very, still had a lot of great hop character, but very refreshing.
Yeah, that sounds great. I want that. I want that now. That was good. That was the bottle. Oh. The sound effect. What's in that bottle? Are you drinking is that
Topo
Chico?
It's
Topo Chico, yeah.
I don't guess I've ever had Topo Chico.
You've never had Topo Chico?
No, I haven't.
No, I don't know. It's like everybody's addicted to it in Austin. I feel like it.
What is it flavored?
It's just
mineral water. Mineral water.
It's like carbonated mineral water.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have plain and lime flavored.
Oh. Okay. No, I can see it working. I can see it working on a hot day for sure. Can't drink beer all the time, right?
No. What do you think about this Two Shades?
Two Shades. Okay. So this is a collaboration between B52 and Spindle Tap. I don't know, 8% ABV. Mm-hmm. Spelt. Oh, spelt is a grain, right? Spelt and oats. I don't know. I wish I had looked up. You know what? I should have looked this up more. I saw when they were brewing. Do you get down to the Houston area very often?
I don't make it very often. Fortunately, we have a pretty regular that he comes up from Houston almost weekly, and he brings us a lot of Spindle Tap, and I've got to try a lot of their beers. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
they're all the rage.
This one's super hazy.
It is. I would call it. This is, you can't, like, if I were to drop my car keys in there, they'd probably be lost. Look at that. That's like orange juice right there. The flavor, I enjoy the flavor. There's something about, like, it kind of grabs your throat a little bit.
Yeah, I've heard Preston describe it as heartburn in the back of your throat.
Yeah, there's a
like
quality
in the back
there.
Of your mouth.
I don't know what causes that. It's like what causes that, Joe? It's like you actually lick the hot plants kind of grab you. Like we grew some in my backyard, and they kind of grab onto you, and it feels like you just you swallowed one. What causes that? What is that? Do we know?
I definitely get it in beers, especially some of the more turbid ones that are really heavily dry hopped, and especially if you're using a high percentage of like the cryo hops. Mm-hmm. I'll get some of that burn. But yeah, I think it's definitely a character in a lot of the New England style IPAs, because these beers are being sold super fresh. And so I think that character, I mean, that's almost like what we as brewers have always been tasting, as we're getting beers in process in the fermenter. It's that like very, very fresh, like green, like literally green character.
Oh, hold on, everybody. We're getting a phone call. Go caller. You're on the drunk dial line with Joe Mohrfeld from Pinthouse Pizza and Josh and Kennedy without Catherine today.
Hello?
Oh.
What day is it?
What? Today's Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
Today's Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
It's Catherine.
Who is this? Who is this?
This is Josh.
Josh, what's your last name?
Stuart, your co-host. Where'd she go? Did you just drive under a bridge?
Are you?
She had enough.
No,
No, you're
I
here.
hung up on you.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh.
What are you doing?
I am standing outside of an eating establishment where my kids are inside, probably making a ruckus and throwing food at people.
Fun.
But I just had to call in for a minute.
Yeah, you're on assignment today. Top secret.
I'm on a top secret assignment today. And anytime you do anything top secret, you should always take all of your kids with you.
Oh, Catherine,
Definitely.
say hey to Joe. Joe,
Yeah.
Catherine.
Hi, Joe. How's
Hi.
it going, man?
Hi, Catherine. Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So
Okay.
excited to have you on the show today.
Yeah, it's great.
So, can you give us any details of, other than letting your kids run amok in a public location?
Right.
Can you give us any tidbits of
I can
information?
give you a little bit of tidbits of information that, I don't know if everybody knows this, but I own a t-shirt company called Barbacoa Apparel.
Sponsored
We have
the
big,
show.
big things on the horizon. This morning, we had something really big happen,
Mhm.
and so I'm out in the city
Mm.
trying to get everything in place. And sometimes when you have a business, the only way to get things in place is to go to a bank. So I had to take all my children into a bank earlier because this is what working moms do.
Yeah.
So, so we're just, we're working on it, but I'm so excited, and I'll be able to announce it probably in the next few weeks. But in the meantime, just trying to keep everyone alive is really what I'm doing.
Okay. Yeah,
You
Joe,
know,
she's
like,
got
in and out.
like eight kids.
She's got a lot.
She's got like
Wow. Yeah.
we've lost count. We don't. And wide range, all the way from your oldest is 25.
She'll be 17. Yeah, she's 37, and then the little one is 4 days old. So it's
with another one already
yeah,
on the
no,
way.
I have 4 kids. I have 4 kids, not 8.
Right.
Although I'm still young, so anything could happen.
Yeah, well, that's
any minute.
Kennedy and I have already placed bets. There's Vegas odds, so
Yeah.
it's probably not a good value bet because the odds are so in the favor of at least 2 or 3 more.
Right.
But whatever, it's cool. More the merrier.
Yeah, we have a liquid lunch baby.
Yeah, we need more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was conceived while not on the show, but
That would have been impressive. I think we would
Wow.
be a lot more popular.
while doing the show. And
That beer.
Listen, guys. We have all of 2018 and 2019 to make real magic things happen. So let's not count it out.
Okay.
I'll
Wait.
do anything for listeners and downloads.
Okay. Yeah. Like,
That's all I'm saying.
yeah. Go. What would be the go? Never mind. I'm not impregnate. I don't know if there's a go impregnate me fund website. I don't. That's
Go
weird.
impregnate me.
I don't
it
know.
doesn't really cost money.
That's
So
true.
you're like, look, babe, we got all this money for you to get me pregnant. Do it.
It's like I'd do that for free.
How could you say no?
Yeah. Seriously. Right. That's
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. So I'm hoping, unless you get another big call next week, I'm assuming you'll be back next week.
Hopefully everything will simmer down by next week, and I won't be. I'll just be mentally frazzled and not physically all over the place. So
Okay.
it should be good.
But that's
Well,
that's
normal.
Yeah, that's about to say. That's par for the course. That's about it.
Yeah, that's just business owning.
Okay.
Well-
All right. Well, I'm getting word on the internet that that Harry is messing with the deep fryer at this exact
Oh,
moment.
that does not surprise me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'll let you get back to all the top secret goings ons in life and all that stuff. But thank you for taking the time to call and because
course.
you've just piqued the curiosity of the thousands upon thousands of Texans, beer loving Texans, that will watch and listen to this show. So
Yeah.
we're gonna all wait with bated breath, hoppy bated breath when we can hear like the exact details.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy your Thursday.
Okay, you too.
Pizza.
Hang in there. Keep working hard.
I will. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, toodles. All right, so there's Catherine. I knew she was going to call in today, Joe. She's yeah, that was like not that long before the show. She's like, "Oh, I got this thing." And it's like, just go do that.
Yeah.
So we got to say thanks to Barbacoa Apparel for helping bring you today's show.
Yeah.
Go to barbacoaapparel.com/shop. Joe, they've got these cool breakfast taco T-shirts. So whatever your favorite breakfast taco is, they got a themed one. So like bean and cheese, boom, like a nice. I think that one's like the sky blue with a cool print on it. Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a taco nut shirt that glows in the dark. So when I walk in,
Ooh.
yeah, and it's got this astronaut with a taco, right? Because tacos in space.
Still glowing?
Oh, absolutely.
After how many washes do you think?
I don't even know. I hang it up, though. I don't throw it in the dryer.
Yeah.
Because I want it to draw up. I want it to be long and luscious and soft.
Yeah, they shrink when you
Yeah,
dry.
yeah, you don't do
Trust me,
that.
I know.
Yeah, right? Rookie mistake. But when I walk in like at night, because I get off work late at night and I go to say goodnight to my girls as they're sleeping, I'll walk in the room and I'm like, why is there so much light in this room? And I look down and it's me. It's my shirt glowing in the dark. So anyway, just a cool line of gear to get there at Barbacoa Apparel. Anyway.
Hey,
Plug.
Joe, we do have a viewer question for you.
All right.
Viewer/homebrewing question. They're wondering if you guys would be willing to share the recipe for La Cama Muerta for homebrewing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. That was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
No, I've shared it with a few people. I think it might even be in print somewhere out there if you dig. But I know early on we shared it with. It wasn't Zimmergy, but it was in some publication had put it in there. But if he wants to, or he or she, don't want to assume the gender, but they want to email me. It's just my email is just joe@pinthousepizza.com.
Or better yet, go to Pinthouse Pizza, order some pizza, and then just wait around because you'll show up eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah. I unfortunately I can't just rattle it off the top of my head. We got too many recipes now. It would get jumbled, and you'd end up with something. But it's actually a pretty straightforward beer. But yeah, I can definitely give you probably percentages, and you can scale it to whether it's 5 gallon or 10 gallon, get you close.
That's cool. Yeah, look at that. That's awesome. All you have to do is ask.
There you go, Jeffrey.
Way to go. Hey, yeah, Jeffrey. If you brew that, Jeffrey's here in the Houston area.
Yeah.
If he brews that, he's got to bring some on the show, and we'll have Joe on again, and then we'll figure it out. And maybe just road trip it up to Austin and see. Have you give it the once over and tell us how close he got?
Yeah, I had a customer. He brewed a Cama Muerta a couple years ago, and he brought it in, and it was pretty nice. It actually came across really nice side by side.
Yeah. That's cool. I love home brewing. Kennedy just got into home brewing. He's about to do a second batch.
Yeah, actually, I'm brewing my second batch ever tomorrow.
What are you brewing tomorrow?
A wit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're gonna go coriander,
Yeah.
sour orange, or just what are you gonna do?
It's gonna have coriander, orange, lemon, and grapefruit.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
It's
Nice.
Preston's award-winning recipe.
Oh
by
yeah.
the way.
Speaking of Preston, big thanks to the Grain Cellar,
Yes.
Humble's premier homebrew store.
I really couldn't be doing this homebrew venture without Preston.
Yeah. Oh, he's a whiz.
Yeah.
He's
In
a
fact,
whiz.
I was there yesterday, and he put me to work.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens.
Put me to work, and he built me a immersion chiller.
Immersion chiller. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. You'll get that work cooled down to pitching temperature and no time flat.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
That's gonna be tomorrow. I'm excited.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Second batch.
Second batch.
I feel good. I feel good that I was here to. I don't know how much I facilitated the whole homebrewing thing, but
Oh.
just to be a witness to it.
Yeah, you helped.
Yeah, you'll probably be opening your own brewery somewhere in the next couple years.
Yeah, after 2 batches, sure.
I've heard people, look, some people know when it gets you, Joe, right? When it gets you, it
That's right.
gets you. And I've seen it. I've seen the look in people's faces change, like what all their plans for the weekend change.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've been really excited about
Yeah.
doing this. And I've got TD Mike. He's coming over.
Yeah, listen.
He's gonna help.
Listen, you're both single dudes, theoretically.
Yeah.
You're not married.
No, we're not.
You both have significant others, but you're not married yet. You're not legally bound to anybody else's opinions.
Right.
And it can that homebrewing stuff can run amok. I mean, I'm married with 3 kids, and it's still taking over my whole garage and 3 cabinets in the kitchen, and I started a show.
Yeah, well,
For all, I mean, it's just
I live in a small apartment, and
you'll buy a house just to brew.
I've got homebrew equipment all over the place.
That's going to motivate you to buy a house. I can see it now. You and Mike are going to live together. You're going to just move in with Mike. You're going to brew all day.
No, I'm not.
It can happen. Joe, what got you into it? I mean, you worked at Odell, and what was your first batch? Who got you into it?
Yeah, I had a professor in college get me into home brewing. It's funny, like I wasn't really into beer through college. I think like a lot of people, I was just super cheap. So whatever got me drunk for the cheapest for most of my college years. I'd like to have this like romantic story, like, oh, I fell into craft beer at age 17 and I always had an appreciation. Like, no, I just drank whatever was cheap. And, I went to a state school up in Minnesota. So there's a lot of keg parties with like Milwaukee's Best Light. And, so that was my impression of beer. And I didn't really like it. But I had this professor, he actually got me interested into it, more because of a lot of the old stories with like historic recipes. Mm-hmm. So he would brew a lot of more historical styles, and he was always into like researching, about like, however that style came about. And so that kind of intrigued me. And then when I got out of college, I was living up in the Twin Cities, and I was working for a beer distributor doing sales and marketing, and a friend of mine, we went on a homebrew kit together, and we brewed a batch, and I was honestly, I was hooked, and I went in to actually go buy the second recipe, and they were hiring for a part-time, like just worker at the homebrew shop, and I knew I was going back to grad school, the next year, so I wasn't like, didn't need a career anyway, so I'm like, asked them like, what would I need to do? And they're like, well, are you available these days? I'm like, yep. And so I started working at the homebrew shop, and I think I did something like 150 brews over that year.
Oh, wow.
For the time I was there, because we had this. It was cool because we'd go in. There's like 3 of us that worked every day, and so it's like whoever was in first would get the water going. We had this filtered water that ran really slow, but they'd start heating up water, and then we'd kind of just brew throughout the day. Take turns checking on the brew and helping customers, and so I got to brew a ton of different beers, and I kind of knew, I'm like, I wanted to be a brewer. I mean, I honestly applied to grad schools that like it was like Portland and Fort Collins, and there's one in Northern California. I mean, it was like, well, it's outdoor recreation and craft beer. That's like what I wanted around me. And, and then living in Fort Collins, I just became even more hooked by craft beer. And, I'm like, I think being a brewer sounds like a lot more fun than being an academic. So I kind of scrapped that career path and went and started kind of volunteering at Odell, and they eventually hired me, which was cool.
Yeah, that is cool. What was the subject that professor taught that was teaching you about beer?
He's a philosophy professor. My degree is in philosophy.
Okay.
And yeah.
Do you have a favorite study of philosophy, or like if somebody
philosopher?
Yeah. Or school of thought, I guess.
I did a lot of stuff with like the cultural studies side coming out of the continental tradition. So a lot of my work was very influenced by like Nietzsche and Kierkegaard, and then some more contemporaries like Sartre, and so I did a lot in the continental tradition. But
how does your love for philosophy feed the beer styles that you, or the beers that you develop?
I think it probably used to have, like especially when I was doing a lot of the wild and sour beers. I did this beer at Odell called Deconstruction, which was all influenced by the theory of deconstruction from Derrida, and it was like it was such a, so this is great. The first beer that we were ever tasked, it was like 3 of us at Odell. We were all young, And I kind of I was working in production, but I was also doing a lot with the marketing side of things because of my background. I wrote a lot in my graduate program about culture in craft beer. Mm-hmm. So I was helping with that, and so there's three of us teamed up, and our boss Brendan McGivney, who's the director of production at the time at Odell. Now he's the COO. He tests us. He's like, all right, so we're gonna do the special release beer. I want you guys to basically run it from beginning to end. Come up with the beer, come up with the branding, come up with the story, do everything. And so the goal was to produce. It was supposed to be 90 barrels. We were supposed to have it done in about 3 months. And in the only stipulation he gave us is he wanted it to be kind of a Belgian golden. Mm. We produced about 30 barrels over the course of 11 months by coming up with this crazy technique where we'd brew these small batches and ferment it with different bacteria. We'd age some of it. So we basically deconstructed the overall flavor profile and then would blend back. And it was a blast. And it was, the accountants hated us, but Brendan still loved us. But luckily, he didn't fire any of us. And it became like kind of the wild and sour beer that kind of put us on the map at Odell. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think early on, a lot of it, I felt really influenced by it because we were starting to use a lot of those techniques. And now I think it's a lot. I think it's my approach is very agrarian. A lot of respect for the farmers. I think that comes out of some of the like environmental ethics stuff that I've always been very in tune with.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I like that. Well thought out. Anyway. Yeah. Well thought out approach to beer, Kennedy. What do you have a philosophy when you approach your second batch of beer that you channel when you just get it in the pot?
No.
All right, something to think about. Well, you know what?
Yeah,
work on technique and then develop the philosophy. Yeah. How about that? I mean, when you talk about, Joe, you doing 150 batches of beer in the course of a year. Yeah. That's like when the Beatles, when they first got together and they went and played at the fair or whatever. They played like 3 times a day, every day for like 70 days or whatever it was, like their boot camp of becoming a band. That was I forget the name of that fair, wherever they were, but that's that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was a blast. I mean, and it was cool because it was it was a group of us. So they certainly weren't any of our beers necessarily. It was it was whatever we were kind of interested in at the time, and the homebrew shop was always really supportive because they wanted us to try to work out new recipes and come up with kits and stuff. But yeah, so we brewed so many different styles of beer and. It was wild. I look back at that brewing. I got a brewing notebook from that year. And I have all these recipes in there, and most of the recipes just look terrible now. I think back, I'm like, I can't believe I thought that was good or a well thought out recipe, but we brewed it nonetheless, and I'm sure we drank it.
Yeah. Well, and what year was that too? Because taste change, and trends change.
Yeah, that would have been 2005, 2006.
Yeah. So things have changed so much.
Or 2005, yeah.
Yeah, you're talking 13 years at this point. In the brewing world, the beer world, as far as trends and flavors, and that's like 5 generations ago.
It's a long time.
Yeah, you think about what people did 5 generations ago. Now that's like it's like Civil War era, or just post. That's crazy. That's the growth that craft beer's had, and like the move forward. And we're just getting started. That's the exciting part about it.
I think some of my bittering additions, I use more ounces in 5-gallon batches than I do in 7-barrel batches now. So it's something about that.
Let's see. Chris asked how many barrels per year Pinthouse currently brews, like total, I'm guessing is what he's wanting to know. And you gave us the math, but I'm not very good. So do you know like a total?
Yeah, barrelage? We'll do... This year we'll do probably just under 5,000 between our 2 current locations. Okay. And, with Round Rock coming online, hopefully we'll start brewing in August, September.
Okay.
I'm estimating that we'll probably finish this year around 7 to 7,500 barrels.
Okay. I'm writing that down. We'll hold you to it. We'll see. We'll have you back on in December and be like, you missed it by 100.
Yeah.
So we have a new viewer, first time viewing, Danny.
Hey, Danny.
Danny, welcome to Liquid Lunch.
Hey, Danny, I'm a first-time viewer too.
Come back anytime.
Yeah. Oh, that's all that was? He didn't. Okay.
Well,
Okay, thanks.
give people a warm welcome.
Do
to
we know
our
where
show.
Danny is? Do we have a location on Danny?
We do not.
I'm
Danny,
guessing he's here in Texas, but you know,
Yeah.
Texas is a big spot.
I mean, he could be.
Hey, I
anywhere
got
in
a
the
funny
tunnel.
story though about the homebrewing second batch. When I was working at the store, because you're talking about doing your second batch,
Yes.
and it reminded me of this. It was a father and son. They came in and bought their first batch, and they were super excited. And they bought like the very basic kit where they had like one, I think it was like a fermenting bucket, and they didn't have like a carboy. And they came back in like 6 or 7 days later, and they're looking for another kit to, brew another recipe. And I was like, oh, do you guys need another bucket? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, I mean, what are you going to do with the other one? They're like, oh, we drank it already. like what? They're like, yeah, I mean, we went to take the hydrometer sample to see if it was done fermenting. And once we tasted it, we ended up drinking that whole bucket that night.
Oh my god!
Like you guys just drank 5 gallons of flat
beer.
probably unfermented beer,
Oh.
and they were so stoked.
Hey man,
Wow.
if that's your wheelhouse, that super hazy, unfermented. I mean, they probably
They
started.
knew something before any of us.
Yeah, they probably started a brewery on that and somewhere. Up north, there's this little 3-barrel system. Like we don't ferment anything. It's just
And we like it flat.
so fresh.
super fresh. This is tastes like bread water.
Yeah. No carbonation at all.
Carbonation is
Who needs
overrated.
that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those bubbles, forget
Yeah.
it. They completely take away from the character of the whatever.
But yeah, if you ever get a chance to work at a homebrew shop at some point in your life, it's probably gotten it's probably better than it was. It used to be kind of the Wild West because there wasn't a lot of information. But the questions that you get and the people that you get to interact with is it's very entertaining at times.
Yeah, everyone I've talked to, we have 5 or 6 in the Houston area, and the vein that runs through is I've learned so much since working here, being at the store. It's
Or you can just go hang out.
yeah, you could just go hang out, but
Yeah.
I don't know. People don't come.
Oh, but if you work there, you get the people that come in. They never bring you their beer if it's good. What they bring it in and they say, "Hey, I think I have a problem with this. I think this is infected. Can you try it?" You're like, "Thanks." Yeah.
Yeah, this tastes like baby diapers.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
does this taste like baby diapers to you? It's like that gym bag. It's like, dude, this is awful. Smell this. That's that.
No,
approach.
the day my first batch was ready, I made a beeline to the grain cellar.
There you go.
But it was flat.
Oh, well, I hadn't finished
Yeah. And it
carbonating.
just needed a couple more weeks in the bottle.
I guess so. Yeah, that's the risk you run with that bottle conditioned beer. So, all right. Well, Joe, let's talk about what's coming up at Pinthouse Pizza here in the next little bit. You've got some beer releases coming up.
Yeah, lots of cool stuff coming up. If you're up in Austin, I'm actually promoting my buddies over here at Bellbreaker today.
Yes.
We just did a beer with them.
I like that.
They're
shit.
up in Yakima, Washington. They're actually on a hop farm, which is pretty
That's
awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
And they were down, and we did an IPA, believe it or not. It's called Party Forever, as we often do with those guys whenever we hang out. And I think the really cool story on this beer is they also have this program that their family has set up called Ales for ALS.
Oh, cool.
And what they do is they come up with a hop blend every year, and they put that mixture together, and they send it out. It's free. And you brew with it, and whatever beer you brew with it, you donate $1 per pint. So this beer that we did with them, not only did we brew with them, and kind of combined our styles, but also got to incorporate some of the stuff their family's doing for ALS research, which is really cool. And that comes out next Friday, and we'll have that floating around town a little bit and on at both pubs until it runs out.
Cool. Yeah, that's good. Always good to give to. I mean, one, beer is a good cause in and of itself. Just kind of brings humanity together, but then on top of that, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, and then another fun one. Our buddies at Hops and Grain, we do a beer with them every year called Peach of a Pale, and it's a peach pale ale that we do right around peach harvest season. And and we're shaking up a little bit. So we're kind of going not full milkshake with it, but we're adding some lactose and just kind of taking it up a notch from what we've done in the past. So I'm pretty excited about that. We just brewed a batch at Hops and Grain yesterday, and we're brewing at our place next week.
Cool. Yeah.
That comes out July 7th.
Okay, July 7th. All right, mark that down. Ooh, I'll actually.
And we got a margarita machine for the release, so we're going to be doing frozen peach of pails at the release.
Oh.
Okay,
So that's going to be fun.
Do you do that pre-carbonated, or how does that
Yeah, we pull it off flat, and we put it in the machine.
Okay.
It's pretty fun. We did it for release of our painkiller inspired beer about a month ago, and it's pretty delicious.
Okay. I dig that. I'm going to be up in the Austin area for 4th of July, so hopefully I don't know, about the 7th. I'll have to look at my schedule. Might just have to come back. That sounds cool. Ooh, a margarita machine. That's what we need in the studio.
Everywhere. You just need a margarita machine everywhere.
So in my car.
Right.
What?
Oh, I was gonna say, Danny. We asked before. He's at Wichita Falls.
Oh, okay, cool.
Let's go.
Wait, they just got a brewery, right? Didn't Wichita Falls have a brewery that opened not that long ago?
Yeah, Matt he was living here in Austin. He went back there to start one.
Yeah. Are they open yet? Are they still in plan? I know that the licensing, I believe they got their license.
Didn't one in Wichita Falls close like within the past year?
Oh, I don't know.
I think there was one that closed recently up there.
I don't know. There was a lot of goings on. It's like dang it. Grapevine just sold to another group, and they were contract brewing at is that Grapevine? Yeah, Grapevine. I probably should have pulled it up and had the information in front of me. Hard-hitting journalism here, but
There's some rumors.
yeah, no, it's a thing. It's official. They're selling to, because they pulled back a bit, went smaller. They were doing contract brewing, for some other people, and it's one of the groups or one of the brewers that was using their gear to contract, and then they're buying it, and they're still going to continue the Grapevine beers, or some of them under another name. I shared it the other day on Twitter. I should have written that down.
So we have another question from a viewer.
Okay, go.
I believe we covered this before, but Chris wants to know, not me, Chris. Wants to know if you guys have a brew pub license.
Yep. Yeah, we have a brew pub license.
Yeah. So probably seeing all the rigmarole. Check that off. Used rigmarole in a sense. Using all the rigmarole about production breweries being able to sell directly to the public, which they should. Here to go.
I agree. It's we're the only state that they can't.
It's so silly. So silly.
Pretty ridiculous.
So silly. Politicians, come on. Yeah, and that's the thing, they still try to defend it. They're getting that, just be honest, you're getting that money. But that's coming to an end.
Oh yeah.
There's too much public. I think it seems different this time. And we're not even, when is the next legislative session? It's another year away, right? So
I think that's right. Yeah.
So we've got, it seems like there's a lot of chatter. I'm hopeful. That's me. Craft Pack, go sign that. If you haven't, Chris, have you signed that the thing yet? There's a thing. What is it called? What you call it?
No.
Go sign it. I'll send you the link.
I'll sign it.
Yeah, I would encourage everybody to
petition. That's the word.
Become aware of the Craft Pack and sign it and do what you can, because it's definitely important.
Yeah, call your local rep and or senator there and let them know we want beer freedom. Okay, that's our politics for the day. Well, I guess we'll wrap there, because it's the end of the lunch hour and we can't stay on lunch forever. Joe, you can't stay on lunch forever.
Unfortunately, no.
No, I'm gonna start some music. Hopefully, this won't be too loud. But Joe, I just want to say thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And anytime you guys have something going on or want to talk, just come on and chat. Just hang out. We're here every Thursday, so just
Every Thursday
perfect.
night.
Just let us know. Everybody, if you're in the Austin/Round Rock area anytime soon, or anytime in your life, go to Pinthouse Pizza. Delicious food, fantastic beers. Award win. We didn't even get into the fact that y'all won all the awards, all the World Beer Cup. You've won 3 medals this season or this year.
Yeah, we had a good spring.
Yeah, gold in the GABF and 17. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a dynasty.
What What beer won the gold?
We won gold at GABF. We won gold with our dry Irish stout, Bearded Seal, and then at World Beer Cup we won gold with Green Battles IPA in American Strong Pale.
Yeah, strong, super strong. Yeah,
Super strong.
excellent.
And then we took bronze in American IPA.
Oh, that was it. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. So that alone, just go in there so you can say that you had award-winning, World Beer Cup winning beer. Touch your lips at Pinthouse Pizza. And good people and good stuff, good beer. So new Round Rock location coming soon, which I can't wait. And just all the good beer. So, Joe, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. Joe Mohrfeld from Pinthouse Pizza.
Thanks, Joe.
Eat the pizza, drink the beer, live the experience. All right, Joe, we'll talk to you again down the road, sir.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Toodles. That's Joe, everybody, as we wrap the show there. Kennedy, good job today. Real quick, we need to make sure we thank our sponsors.
Yeah.
The Grain Cellar, Humble's premier homebrew store, and just, getting Kennedy into home brewing and all that good stuff. And you too.
I was there yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And?
I got to.
Did you get your hug? If you walk in today
didn't
and
get
say,
my hug.
Liquid Lunch sent me free hugs from one Preston Brown, waist up or waist down,
Although
but
Jules-
240 First Street.
Jules
West
went in
Humble.
and got her hug.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Home
Wait.
brewing, winemaking, distilling, fermenting supplies, cheese, any equipment, kettles. You can make your own immersion chiller
Yes.
to get that wort down to pitching temperatures in just the nick of time. So you can be free of any contaminants, wild yeast, or bacteria.
I tried to pull a fast one on him.
Last
week.
How's that?
I had Jules walk in to ask for the free hug.
You can't fool Preston with that.
No, you can't. He already knew who she was.
Yeah. All
I
right.
thought I was gonna get him.
No, you
I
can't.
did.
You can't do that
I
to
did.
Preston. All right. So the Grain Cellar, everybody. Barbacoa Apparel, of course. Go to barbacoaapparel.com/shop. Get all those awesome tees and big news. It depends on what's going on with Catherine. We'll hear more about that next week. And of course, check out our Amazon link, liquidlunchshow.com/shop. Liquidlunchshow.com/Amazon. Maybe if you bought a mixer, you could take that link or not, Kennedy. And just a little win in our sales and help us pay the bills just by making your normal purchases on the Amazon that everybody makes. So thanks, everybody. We'll be back next week with more Catherine and a special guest, perhaps, we're working on. Right here, Liquid Lunch, every Thursday at noon.
Dude Productions.